Hey guys, MichaelBtheGameGenie here, and I'm back with you again today. I didn't expect to be making so many videos this week, but I've got some very exciting news about the availability of the Midway Legacy cabinet, and as of right now, 12 p.m. Eastern on November 24th, the Midway Legacy cabinet from Arcade1Up is now available for pre-order. You can go here in Canada to the Bricks website and place your pre-orders now for the Midway Legacy cabinet. So if you've been under a rock and haven't been following the news over the course of the last week, the long speculated, we kind of knew it was coming out because it was accidentally leaked early, but Midway Legacy Mortal Kombat branded cabinet was announced on the same day that the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat movie was released. They tied in the branding. And we've waited and we've waited and we waited, and now official pre-orders are available. So go to the Brick, get your wallets out, and place your orders for the Midway Legacy cabinet. I know there are a lot of people out there in the community that are kind of divided about the Midway Legacy cabinets. Many of us, like myself, already have a Mortal Kombat cabinet, so why do I want to buy another one from Arcade1Up? Well, the first reason that most people are going to be buying these cabinets is because you're like me and you're running out of space, and it's an opportunity to consolidate two cabs. If you take a look at it, at the games list, every game that's on the Mortal Kombat original Arcade1Up cabinet, as well as the Rampage original Arcade1Up cabinet, will be included on this Midway Legacy game, as well as some additional games. We're also going to get Paperboy, we're also going to get Tubin, we're also going to get Root Beer Tapper, which I'm really excited about, Bubbles, which is a game that John D kind of said he would never put on an Arcade1Up cabinet. We're finally getting it. Last but not least, Wizard of War, which I'm not really familiar with. Let's talk about some of the other changes and upgrades. First off is they've actually changed the design and the shape of the cabinet. This looks more like the original cabinet. And Zohar, before you bite my head off, I know, man, it doesn't look exactly like the original cabinet, but it's more like an original cabinet. Another big upgrade is this one already comes with a light-up marquee. I have a light-up marquee for my Mortal Kombat cabinet. That's an official Arcade1Up light-up Mortal Kombat marquee, but I had to, pay $79.99 US plus shipping to me here in Canada to get it upgraded. This cabinet's just going to come with a Mortal Kombat 2 light-up marquee. I also know that the cabinet has those wings on the side. Retro Ralph hates those wings, but that one is basically out there, so this is also going to be a $2.99 Walmart job in the States that doesn't come with a light-up marquee, so if you do eventually buy the aftermarket light-up marquee like I have with my Mortal Kombat 2, you can install that and it won't come out all the way. The other reason, too, is pretty obvious if you haven't figured it out yet. It's a line of sight issue. These cabinets are only 3/4 scale. We're tall, so we're going to be standing up so tall next to the cabinet, and when you look down, if the marquee is too far out, it's going to block off a piece of the screen. So that's why the marquees are always so recessed on these cabinets. So we do have that clear line of sight up to a specific height, I think maybe 6'3", 6'4", and you can still see the screen. So unless they angle the screen, put the slant in that Zohar wants, we're going to have a recessed marquee. Another big reason to upgrade to this cabinet, for those of you, just say for example you just have the Mortal Kombat arcade. Let's face it, the screen on the Mortal Kombat isn't the new Wave 3 BOE monitor, so you're upgrading to get a new screen. And also, the speaker on the Wave 2 Mortal Kombat cabinet is a mono speaker, so you're moving to stereo speakers with this cabinet. And also, I think for Mortal Kombat, the sticks and buttons are the same. I don't think they've changed since Wave 2. Maybe the Wave 3 ones are a little bit different, but you look at a cab like Rampage, and the buttons were, well, at least my buttons and sticks are horrible on Rampage, so I'm excited to be able to play these games with better controls. Speaking of better controls on these games, I bought my Rampage cab specifically to play Defender. And you know what game is really, really hard to play on it? Defender. I can't play Defender on the cabinet. I can, but it's a chore, right? Guys, you know what I'm talking about here. It's a chore. So at least with the Mortal Kombat button configuration, I know people are complaining about it, but I think it's going to be easier to play Defender specifically on that cabinet. Also, I bought my Rampage secondhand from a guy who bought it and didn't realize that you could contact Arcade1Up to get the board PCB changed out if you had the Gauntlet glitch. So I still have the Gauntlet glitch in my Rampage board. At least I'll be getting an updated version of Gauntlet. So guys, I just do have a few minor concerns about the Midway Legacy cabinet that I want to address with you now. Just make sure that you're aware before you make your purchases. Number one is the fact that we're getting new games. We're getting Paperboy and Tubin, and that's really exciting. However, if you look at the arcade versions of those, they have very specific controls, and we're getting a different control scheme here for the Midway Legacy cabinet. It's the Mortal Kombat controls. So you decide whether or not you want to play those arcade games in that form factor, but realistically, and these are merely add-ons. Maybe they could have chose a different game, but we still got a pretty solid game lineup, and you don't have to play these games if the controls bother you that much. Another area of concern that I have is that the Rampage arcade ROM is actually based for a 3-player cabinet, so there has to be 3 people to start in. You play as the character you're standing at on the cabinet, and where the Mortal Kombat control panel is only 2 players, I'm trying to figure out how Rampage is going to work. How are you going to button in? So that'll be interesting to see. Another thing I want to mention was I love the fact that this has more of a traditional arcade cabinet shape, and the artwork that's going to be on the side of the cabinet can be displayed more accurately. However, they took the famous Mortal Kombat 2 art that we all know and love, and for some reason added some really high blue into the side of the panel, so it actually is different than the original cabinet. I don't know if they did this to differentiate from their original Mortal Kombat offering or what the story is, but that additional blue is actually detracting me from being interested in this cabinet because it's not arcade accurate. You have the right shape, or at least a more accurate shape. You can do the accurate art like it's supposed to be done, and then you do something like that, which boggles my mind. Last but not least, there's also the elephant in the room. This is another version of Mortal Kombat that we can play at home that has a lot of pluses, but it doesn't include Wi-Fi. And you know, at some point, they're probably going to release a Mortal Kombat cabinet with a live function. So take that into consideration as well. You can upgrade your Mortal Kombat now and get a much better version as long as you're playing at home, but if you want a live version in the future, maybe you should consider holding off. Anyways, take all those things into consideration when making your decision on whether or not you're going to pick up the Midway Legacy cabinet. For those of you interested, much like me, I'm definitely going to do the upgrade. Head on over to the Bricks website if you're here in Canada and place your orders right now. Anyways, guys, that's all for my update today. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'm going to go order the Midway Legacy cabinet, and I'll talk to you next time.